What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Today we've got Mourinho's 4-3-3. It's absolutely incredible inside of the match engine. It's very highly requested from you boys and girls back home. And this tactic picked up the treble in testing, a solid defensive record, and a good goal outlet as well. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on. It's completely free and helps out the channel more than you can even imagine. Let's get into the testing. First, we're going to Portugal. So over in Porto, we had a fantastic time in this division indeed, only losing one game, that being against Sporting in a very dramatic game right there. We won the other 31 games and of course drew the two remainder of the games out of the 34. A very good goal difference as well, obviously being said there. Valentin, 33 goals. We've got Galano with 17. First, second and third with the highest average rating. Assist-wise, first and third place as well. And of course, the most clean sheets. The Mourinho way. We can say that, can't we? Team stat-wise, it is going to be the most points per game at 2.79. Most goals at 113. The most shots being displayed. The most shots for. The fewest shots against. The most dribbles. The fewest conceded. And the most clean sheets. Now, what I love about this tactic is a couple of things. So, firstly, I love Mourinho as a manager, and secondly, it's so defensively solid, but also you do get goals, and sometimes the big issue is with the defensive solid tactics, they don't go and score enough, but with this, we got both levels of thing done down to an absolute T. The rest of the competitions, we did actually win a couple extra things. That is going to be the Portuguese League Cup. We are going to win in 3-0 fashion, which we'll take any day of the week. It's another trophy, and we also won the Super Cup, I believe, against it was Benfica, 4-2 in extra time. That appears to be quite a dramatic game. So overall, a really good set of results. Data hub wise, of course, we are going to go and have a little look. Go off the staff tab, that would be very helpful. We're going to go over to the team attacking, 3.32 goals per game. So over 3 goals a game with a tactic which is not designed to go out and score loads of goals is really, really impressive. Over 21 shots a game, over 18.7 dribbles, a great pass completion, again considering this is definitely not a possession-based tactic, a tiki-taka tactic. To see it anywhere near that is really, really impressive. Defensively, phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. We're going to be overperforming. Expected to concede 0.69. We only conceded 0.65. 20 clean sheets, winning the ball back over 3,200 times. Absolutely incredible. What a start. And one of the better games of the league is going to be this 5-0 win away from home. And we put on a great display. Getting the goals going, by the way, inside of a minute. Just over a minute. 1 minute and 8 seconds. A great goal there from João Mario, who's going to go again down the right-hand side now. So much space to drive into. Direct. We do not mind that in this system. A fantastic header. And why not get it in the box? This next goal is interesting. Remember this one. Trust me, once you see it, you sort of won't unsee it. It's going to be a good bit. We won the ball back quite well, but deflection-wise, one of the worst goals I've seen from this match engine this year, and that is saying something. Pepe down the right-hand side now, taking on his man, ball in, into Nico, into the Valentin, who tucks it into the bottom right. One thing you're going to learn very quickly, even from these short sets of highlights, we are not afraid to go more direct when we need to do so. That is the Mourinho way. It doesn't have to be glamorous as long as we get the job done. That goal was a little bit more glamorous though. Nice passing, nice goal. Hala Madrid, thank you for knocking out Man City. Over with Madrid, we again had a fantastic season, winning 30 games, drawing 5 and only losing 3. A very good goal difference as well. The 3 losses coming in against quite good teams, Sparlis, Atletico, and of course Bilbao. But Joselu turns up big time in this season. 30 goals, Rodrigo with 22, Vinicius with 18, Rodrigo 7.57, Vinicius 7.5, and Jude Bellingham, the absolute GOAT, 7.47 when it comes to the average rating. We also are going to have every single player in the assist category dominating. First for Vinny, and tied Luka Modric and Jude with 12. Second most clean sheets being applied to Courtois as well. Team stat-wise, most points per game, of course, we're going to have that. We won the league. Most goals, 104, a fair few more than Barcelona. I mean, the shots are ridiculous. 711, so we are not afraid to have a shot at goal. The fewer shots against, most dribbles being made, showing that we're not just going to sit back and do nothing. We're also very attacking. We are making progressive sort of, dribbling, passing plays, etc., etc. Fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. That's not a bad season, to be fair. Competitions, though, we actually do win another trophy. That is going to be the Spanish Cup in 4-0 fashion over Sevilla. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the job done in the Champions League. And the Spanish Cup, we lost on penalties against Barcelona. Absolute heartbreak. I thought we could have got the job done there, but still a good season. Attacking-wise, not as many goals as obviously the previous set of results, but still a decent amount at 2.74. Still over 18.7 shots a game. A very good amount of dribbles being made. Maintain the pass completion. So the positives are still there, just not as many goals as what we got over with Porto. Defensively, we were very, very good still, only conceding 0.74, 20 clean sheets, winning the ball back 3,740 41 times. That is absolutely ridiculous. We love to see that. A very high tackle win ratio. Yes, we did commit a few fouls per game, but it doesn't look too out of the norm compared to, the other teams that were doing exactly the same. So it's a good set of results defensively and offensively. And I've got to show you this league game because it is 10-1. So we've got to get a good indicator of how the goals are going to be approached, what you can expect. And we've got to kick things off in style with Luka Modric, an absolute baller indeed. Now, you've got to see right from this set of highlights right now, we are not afraid to take on players. And that is why we have the most dribbles being made in the league and we have the most shots in the league, because we go direct. We let the players have a bit of freedom when it comes to the attacking side. But also, we do get goals like that from set pieces. So make sure you got good set pieces installed. I will be dropping a set piece video hopefully next week. I know it's in very high demand. But you can see here from the goals being scored, it is a lot of individual quality, but also little team goals like that, which make it a lot sweeter when you see that being played. And this team here, Vallecano, they offered essentially nothing, as it is going to be an awful foul there on Vinny. Rodrigo picks it up and stuffs it into the bottom left anyway, and they go on to concede another goal. Direct from Modric into Joselu. Yes, these are my set pieces, and yes, you will be getting them. Nacho down the right-hand side into Rodrigo, who's going to go into the middle, into Bellingham, who does his job so well in this Madrid team. It's countless goals. Bellingham again into Modric, into Vinny, and again, taking on everyone, going alone, and he finishes alone. What an absolute man. What a finish. They do get a goal, to be fair to them, and give the fans something for them. It was pretty irrelevant. Obviously, I was not worried about a comeback, because even if I was, we went and scored in the 90th minute. A great set piece, and again, we get the job done. 10 goals. Chelsea. I can't do that. I feel a little bit sick. But we are going to test with Chelsea, a very challenging team on Football Manager. They're not the most fun to play with. For some reason, they just do not get the results. But we did have a good season. You'll see why after this as well. Firstly, Champions League football with 0 signings is still a good season. And if you actually feast your eyes on this, we were only 6 points away from winning the title. Look at these teams. United, Chelsea, as in us, City, Liverpool and Tottenham, all within a 7-point gap from each other, from there to here. That's absolutely mental. A very tight-knit season, which is why I'm happy to release this tactic, because if one of these games changes, then you could easily have ended up, well, going up a couple of places. So it was ridiculously close. In terms of the actual stats, we're not going to be too dominant in anything in terms of the league. In terms of the actual team stats individually, we're going to be pretty much playing second favourite to a few teams. Obviously, defensively, we did concede a fair few. Fewer shots against, though. We are going to be obviously rank 1 in that one. Then it's going to be Liverpool and Man City. If we go for the goals, we are going to be in 3rd place. Not too many behind Tottenham, which is good to see. 2nd, very close with Liverpool there. So we're still getting the job done. Just obviously, there are better teams in the league, and Chelsea aren't the best team to use in Football Manager. Competition-wise, though, this is why I'm happy. The FA Cup we win against Tottenham in 2-0 fashion. We love to see that. And the Carabao Cup against Newcastle in 1-0 fashion. So despite not winning the Premier League, it's 2 trophies and a Champions League sort of entry. That is absolutely incredible for the first season. Data Hub-wise, of course, we can go and have a little look. Team attacking, 2.21 goals per game, over 15 shots a game, over 18 dribbles being made, which is really good to see. The pass completion has dropped a little bit, probably a mixture of using worse players, and also the fact we are in a tougher competition, meaning other teams are going to be pressing higher, maybe force us into a little bit more errors, etc, etc. Defensively, we've still kept it under a goal a game, 14 clean sheets, winning the ball back nearly 4,000 times, so that is a really good stat line to have. So overall, it's still a good season. Ideally, I like to get Chelsea into sort of, the 2nd, 3rd, but I'm not going to query one placement considering how close we were in the league, and we won every English Cup possible. And that FA Cup final, not the most amount of goals, I am aware of that, but it is going to be a very comfortable win in the end anyway, and Kunku gets it off into the 86th minute, by the way. So I say comfortable, it was comfortable at the end, not throughout the entire game. Madueke now into Caicedo, who's going to drive out the back line, a bit of individual quality, and Tottenham give it to us. They really did. Josh, does this work on console and mobile? Yeah. Here's going to be the results on console. As you can see, we've done the Portuguese double, winning the Super Cup and the league as well. The best team defensively and the 2nd best when it comes to scoring goals. I did notice on console, defensively, we were absolutely incredible. We couldn't score as many goals playing the same way. So the tactic is a lot different on console, I will be honest and say that. Of course, you can get it over on the Patreon as the mobile tactic as well, as sort of a joint bundle. And overall, I'm still very happy with how we performed. Just didn't get as many goals out of this team as what we did on PC. Still a decent amount at 2.24, only 0.59 conceded though. We maintained a good pass completion, and we're still having a good amount of shots per game. It plays very, very similar, but as I said, the player roles are a little bit different, because where we sort of copy and pasted the tactic from PC to console, it wasn't working. We had to make changes. But yes, we have got a version for console, and of course mobile. So now over to your favourite part of the video. That is going to be the tactic breakdown. Please do leave a like on the video. It helps out massively, and subscribe if you are enjoying the content. And if you want to get all three of these tactics today, the normal variant, the attacking and the defensive variant, the Xbox, the PS5, the mobile tactic, you want the tactics early, you want your request prioritised, you want the rebuild files, you want access to the giveaways, one-on-one tactical help, Discord roles, there's over 13 perks. You can come over and join the other 3,390 people by clicking the link in the description, and come over and say hello on the Patreon. We've got a big group chat. We always say hello to each other. It's a lovely vibe. Come and get involved. But let's go over and talk about Mourinho's 4-3-3, obviously deployed at Inter Milan at one point, and obviously also at Chelsea. The goalkeeper is simply going to be set to defend. His goalkeepers traditionally never have been risk-taking goalkeepers, which is why he is going to be on this instruction. The fullback on the right is simply going to be on support. No, that is not a mistake. No custom instructions. Nice and basic for the right-hand side. A ball-playing defender comes in again on defensive, obviously on the default as well. We're not going to have Dribble more on any of his centre-backs. Maybe you could argue it in terms of David Luiz would drive into, the midfield and sometimes beyond that, but in this team and the way it works in the game, it simply didn't work, which is why we've not got it on. A central defender comes in on defend, simply on the default instructions. The fullback on the left is also on support, but he's on shoot more often and obviously take more risks. Now, if your right back is a lot better, is in passing and shooting wise, you can strip these instructions, put them on the right back, and obviously scrap that side of things as well. I wouldn't have both of the fullbacks flying forward, taking more risks and shooting more often in the default version, because that would be a little bit too attacking. The anchor comes in on defend, simply on the default as well. When I say default, by the way, it's not a bad thing, because these have got 4 instructions on them anyway, so they've got to get the job done. We then introduce a car in the midfield, on support, on take more risks. A central midfield player on attack, on more direct, take more risks, dribble more, and move into channels. We need him to be this attacking because he is going to be the one providing the chances for this front three, which is going to consist of an inverted winger on the left, on take more risks, and sit narrower. On the right, it's going to be an inside forward on attack, on sit narrower, and the advanced forward up top is going to be on dribble less, shoot more often, and roam from position. Now, I will say, if you have got players on the right or the left that have got very good shooting, 13 and above finishing, you can have shoot more often on. But just be aware that is going to sacrifice a bit of the sort of possession side of the game, because your players are going to be ripping more shots off at goal. That is completely up to you, but it's a little tip with Josh. But all based off a custom clean slate on the positive mentality, we are going to opt for fairly wide. We're going to overlap left, we're going to overlap right, while focusing down the left and the right-hand side of the field. You'll notice when you play your games, a lot of the work is done, and it gets done really well while focusing down the left and the right-hand side of the field. We are going to play out from the back with this tempo being left in the middle. We are also going to deploy a slightly more direct passing directness. This is basically going to be a nice sort of, we're not completely long ball, but we are going slightly direct, as it literally says. So it's not going to be overkill, but it is going to suit his style of play really well. We're going to opt for whip crosses. We are going to run at defence, and to make it very, very attacking, we are going to go with being more expressive. And when I say very, very attacking, I don't mean to the point where you're going to be too defensively vulnerable, but because this is quite a negative system in terms of the way it's going to shape up, as you're going to see in out of possession, we need to have this on to really get the goals flowing. Transition, I bet you probably predicted it, but we are going to go with regroup, counter, slow the pace down, play into anyone across the back line while rolling the ball out. Nice and simple, the Mourinho way. And this is where it's different to a lot of my previous tactics. No high pressing line of engagement, no higher defensive line. The standard defensive line, the mid block is going to be used more often. We're going to get stuck in, we're going to drop off more, and we are actually, unlike many other tactics, which I've not put on at all, we are going to invite the crosses into the box because we've got the players to deal with them. We've got 2 beefy centre-backs, and the wing-back's going to come in and obviously defend as well. We can invite them crosses in, no harm at all. To the midfield, we are going to introduce a register into the mix. We are also going to have a central midfield player on attack, the same as the default. And Mazzala comes in, so this midfield is now transformed a lot more into an aggressive midfield. The inverted winger on the left is going to be on take more risks, shoot more often, and sit narrower. And on the right is going to be an inside forward on shoot more often and sit narrower. So as I said, if you have got players that can do this in terms of the ability, you do have this instruction on. If you haven't, do untick it, because you're going to be very annoyed when they're not having good shots at goal. Simply as that. And the advanced forward is going to be on attack, on dribble less, shoot more more often and roam from the position. Getting a clean slate, but this time on the attacking mentality. We are going to have this up to fairly wide. We are going to pass into the space. All of this is going to be exactly the same because, again, we do not want to tweak anything there because we want their wing backs now out of any situation to get further forwards and really get stuck in. The tempo is going to go up to slightly higher. We're going to have this to slightly more direct with no reason to change that at all. We're going to run at defence. We're going to be more expressive, and we are also going to have the whip crosses. So the big addition here is up in the tempo a little bit and really taking the game to the opposition. Transition a little bit different. Regroup and counter are going to be the same, but on this occasion we're going to take short goal kicks, take them quickly, but we're not going to have a designated area to go to because we are trying to get goals as quick as we can. If there's a better option on the flank, I don't want to restrict them by only allowing them to play to the defenders. So if there is a good option on the wide area, get the ball moving. Out of possession a little bit different. We are still going to have that standard line. We are still going to invite crosses in. We are still going to drop off more. We're going to get stuck in. This is still going to be set to more often, but we are not going to have a mid block. We are going to have the high press and line of engagement, move the team up the field a little bit. To defend those games out, and we have got a defensive masterclass. We had to. It is Mourinho at the end of the day. A goalkeeper simply on the default, a fullback on the right and the left are both going to be on tackle harder and mark tighter, a central defender on the default on the left and a ball player on the right hand side. An anchor man comes in on more direct passes. Yes, we have gone slightly long ball with this sort of vibe. We want an anchor to sit deep, defend, and when he gets the ball, play that ball up the field. Does not matter how direct it is, get the job done. A box-to-box comes in because I wanted a hybrid of a player that can go forwards, that isn't going to be forwards all the time, but also will come back, hence a box-to-box, or more direct passes and move into the channels. And a central midfield player, just a very low-risk option to play it side to side, because the other two in midfield obviously are going to be more direct passes. So a central midfield player on support, on pass it shorter, take fewer risks, dribble less, and mark tighter. The inside forward on the right and the invert winger on the left are both going to be simply on the default instructions, and the advanced forward does remain unchanged because then we've got one player that is going to be making lethal runs in behind, which not only the anchor man can play to, but the box-to-box can link up with and play balls in behind. In possession, we are going to go with a clean slate again on the cautious mentality. We are going to go all the way up to fairly wide. We're going to pass into space, playing out from the back while focusing down the left and the right. We're not going to overlap right and left this time because I don't want to be as attacking in that regard. We are going to go to slightly more direct while we leave this on standard in the middle. Run at defence. Of course, we are not going to change those lovely whipped crosses. And of course, we are going to play for set pieces. So make sure you've got a good one set up. If not, when my video comes out, come and get mine because they absolutely cook. In transition, it's going to be nice and simple justice of regroup, counter, slow the pace down, play to anyone across the back line while rolling the ball out. You've probably told this, or probably understood this by now. Of course, time wasting, slow that pace down and go risk free. Play to anyone across the back line. All of them are on defensive. They're all going to be very close to the goal. It can't really go wrong. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to go with the high press and line of engagement with a lower defensive line, standard, and simply get stuck in. And the reason for that is to have quite a low defensive line, pull them back, but obviously have that high press line of engagement because we are going to be playing the ball very direct. So we need players up the field in terms of that regard, but in terms of players back to the goal, I want to be quite sort of drop-offy, if that makes sense. But that's going to give you 3 variants of Mourinho's 4-3-3 as requested. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Go over and check out the Patreon in the description if you want to unlock over 13 perks. Much love for that. I've got a bit of news as well. We have got a vlog channel coming out, so if you want to see a bit more of me, I will be providing a link to that very, very shortly. There's going to be all sorts of content. Daily vlogs, what I get up to. We've got Silverstone, holidays to go on. It's going to be an absolute vibe, and the content is going to be, it's going to be beautiful. But enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.